Well, welcome to a special edition. I cannot believe it. We were talking the other day when we were recording, and it hit us. It is 1 year, our 1 year anniversary. For myself, phew, time has flown. I cannot believe. I think because we enjoy talking so much, the three of us, and the friendship that we have put together and things that have happened in our life in the past year. And I'm beyond excited that Megs has joined us. Also, if you've gone back to a past episode, we had Megs on before, and she was asking us some questions and talking. And we thought it would be awesome if she joined us also on our special anniversary recording. So welcome. Hi, ladies.
Hey,
Hello.
cue the confetti for like 1 year. That is
I know.
amazing.
yeah, congratulations. That's really incredible. And thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Max. It really is such a, I don't know, it's like a milestone, something that, you embark upon. When we embarked upon this,
Mhm.
we didn't really know each other all that well. And like you said, Michelle, we have gone through things together over the past year that has created that bond, that relationship that we have because we're sharing in each other's lives.
Mhm.
So it's oh, I'm gonna tear up.
I know. I'm like, and I think
Yeah,
there's something the audience needs to understand. We have never met in person.
No,
yeah,
no.
yeah, never.
We got to make that
Yeah.
happen before our second anniversary, but we
Yes.
have never had the pleasure yet of, and when we do, we'll have to do a recording that day.
Yeah. But
Yes.
that's the positive online. Like there's the negative online aspect, but this really is the positive of online that we met and talked and took action and created these, beautiful friendships. And I think it's pretty amazing because I was never believed that you could get that close online with people without meeting them. And it's been lovely.
It has. It's been awesome.
Yeah. So, Megs, what do you think about this whole program and our 1 year anniversary?
I think it's absolutely amazing. And 1 year is a really big, you know, opportunity to celebrate. It's a huge commitment to commit to
Mhm.
something for a year. And I think we go through so much in that first year that we learn about ourselves, we learn about each other. But the first year is always the hardest year because there's the first of everything, right? And so to go through that and then to see and to watch the transformation that you've gone through with visibility and showing up and all of these things, right? It's been really great to see as your business partner, but also as your daughter. And yeah, it's going to be amazing to watch what happens now in the second year as like this new chapter sort of unfolds for everyone, where the conversations are going to go, who you're going to have on, because I think the depth is only going to get deeper and things are just going to become more and more enriched, which is just so exciting. So it's a huge reason to celebrate. So thank you again for having me.
Thanks. It is. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the next year. And I think we should congratulate ourselves on being consistent. And again, just that little spark of talking about something and taking action. And, we could have talked about it and not taken action, and we still be a year ahead.
Yeah.
But the
Exactly.
difference is we have, a bank of video talking about things that we felt were important to us and that we wanted to share.
Yeah.
And,
Amazing.
and I use that bank in my newsletters that I send out.
Oh, good.
I will go back in my bank, and send it out to my email list for my audience to get three different perspectives on something. We don't always agree. We have different perspectives. And I think it shows in the world where everything's become so polar
Mhm.
that the three of us sit and have conversations with three different perspectives sometimes at looking at things.
I don't agree with you right there.
Yeah, and they can all exist. All three exist. That's what's so powerful about that. It's not you're right, I'm wrong, or I'm right, you're wrong. It's like that's your opinion. This is my opinion. This is Grace's opinion. and they can all exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
So
Meg, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I was just going to say, so in honor of this particular session, we have asked Megs to join us so that she can ask us some questions, and just get prepared, ladies.
I'm like, go for it. We've talked about almost everything on this already. So,
all right. Well, I thought because it is, you know, your year anniversary, we need to focus in on like some really special purpose-driven questions. And so the first one is a big one. But I think it's one that sort of will set the tone for anybody who might be joining now, who maybe don't know you very well. But the question is, what is the purpose to your life?
wow.
Let me also rephrase that for you to maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna edit this out and come back in 3 hours. What?
Put a clock that
Okay,
spins.
try again, Meg. Let's get can we start with the easy one?
Well, they only get more progressively difficult from here.
So let me rephrase that question then. What is the calling for your life?
Okay.
So I can answer that. I think in this chapter, and I honestly believe that the calling of your life changes depending on where you are, what age you are, what's going on in your experiences. So for me right now, the calling of my life is to serve as many women as possible to create a life that they can be monetarily taking care of themselves, their family, and also taking care of their life, not living in a business that's going to consume them for 120 hours a week, something that's going to be sustainable, that they can grow from, and that they also get to then enrich somebody else's life. That's my calling.
That was my calling, Tracy.
I was like, that's it. I'm done.
Okay, that's it. We can all adopt it.
I don't know if
Tracy.
it's because I have daughters, but my focus is on women too. But exactly what you said, Tracy, and also that don't be scared of life. And if I could go back and talk to myself as 20, just do whatever you think you want to do. Just do it. Don't be fearful of what people say. Don't, it really is that thing that when you grow older and look back and go, why didn't I do that? It was because you listened to other people's opinion. You trust yourself. And that's my calling, is I really want to anyone out there that's not trusting themselves, just trust yourself. You know deep down. So that's my purpose.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Mine also is similar. I think that's why we started this whole conversation, is I want to empower, or I want women to do what they want to do. I want them to find who they are and embrace that. I want them to be clear on their goals. And, for me, this past year, getting hit in the face with cancer made that even more prevalent. And where my business is today, where it was a year ago, is totally different. I did a complete revamp because I wasn't living to my true calling. And my true calling is guiding women and helping them peel that onion away. And like you said, Tracy G, throw out those beliefs from our past and to be the person we're meant to be. That's my calling, to speak to as many women as I can. Okay, you're gonna get me emotional again.
That's the purpose. That's my hope with these questions, that we bring up some emotion and get into it. So I love that. That's really beautiful. And I love how, like you say, like the calling, the purpose, you're all linked. And that's just so evident and so clear. It's keeping in the same sort of trend or that same theme. What attributes do you carry that you feel connect you to that purpose or to that calling within your life?
Spinning clock. We'll be back in another few hours.
I think for myself, my ability to non-judgmental, because I've had some really hard conversations with people that have shared with me some difficult things. And I've gone through some very difficult things, so I understand where they're coming from. I've gone through trauma. I've gone through some really severe, things in my life. So I think the understanding, non-judgmental, nurturing, while still being a hard ass, because I want to pull out the best in them. I don't want to coddle them. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're safe space, but you
Yeah.
still get results.
Yeah.
Love that.
I'm just
Okay.
thinking, like, it's just, to me, what I bring to the table in my thoughts is, again, it goes just life experience. I've dealt with a lot of death in my family. Like, I lost quite a few people in my family, so I know, hey, why don't you make sure you're living while you can? And I also have a bit of a old school mindset where it's just like, just get off your ass and do it. Like, just stop whining about it. Let's just do it. So I don't know if I'd say safe space. I would say kick in the ass space. But I'm still
So-
gentle and I'm fun. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to be mean to you or anything, but I'm not going to let you sit there for 3 weeks and whine about something. Like,
No.
Well, and I think that's what is so special about coaching, right? Is that it takes you from where you are and it gets you results. It moves you forward, right? We're not here to just hang out in the muck and talk about
Right.
things over and over and over and over again. We might need to talk about it once or twice to clear it, but then we can take action and learn
Yeah.
tools to actually progress our life and our purpose and all those other things to where we want to be, which is what's so powerful, I think, about coaching.
So for me, empathy, honesty, integrity, accountability.
You knew the question before. Come on.
No, but actually it was very easy to formulate my answers by listening to the two of you. Yeah. I'll call that. I'll call this one this. I'll call that one that.
So again, okay, we're gonna keep in this vein for just another couple minutes. What messages do you think you're sending to people with the actions that you're taking in your life and the actions that you're taking in your business?
I think the messaging is very much to do a lot of what we've already said. Don't worry about what anybody else's opinion is. Like, you just have to do it. There are no limitations in your life. Just get off your ass and do it. Like, literally do it. Stop talking about it. Stop hoping for something to happen, that you literally do need to take action. And that empathy and love really is a game changer in any relationship.
So I want to know, what actions, what are you doing that displays that messaging to people? How are you walking your walk, not just talking the talk? I guess is like a more simplified way, I suppose, of asking that question.
Okay, so I'm being visible when I never wanted to be visible before. I'm learning how to do things even though I wanted to delegate things to other people. I'm taking ownership for my own stuff. So it's like, hey, you know what? This is all on me. I have to show that when I have faltered, when I have failed, when I've fallen on my face, it is okay to do all of that and still get up and come out and do the next, Instagram post, do the next Facebook Live, all of those things. And that it's messy imperfection. Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay to be wherever you are. Like, we all worry so much about that stuff. And it's like, by the doing and getting out there and being in front of people, I am creating that message that's telling the women that they can be there, that they can say what they need to say and have their voice, because people need to listen to us. We're here to help people, and that's what we do. that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
And mine, I think, is like, I'll always have your back. I will always have your back and I'll always believe in you. And I think the actions I do with that is like you, Tracy, like a year ago, you would have not seen my face. You know, I did not want to be visible. And now it's again, you know, walking the walk. Like if I'm going to tell you that you can do anything and you know, to take action, I have to do the same thing, but I'll always have your back. I will push you and push you and push you and help you and pick you up, because I think I don't know if it's the area I live in or whatever, you know, I grew up with a lot of mean girls, and I don't want anyone to have to live with mean girls. I want supportive women. I want people that have each other's back and really are, you know, cheering you on. So that's me.
Love that. Love that.
And I love that. That's because, Megs, it's funny that they both brought up about being visible. This was one of the reasons why we started this, because your mom wanted to spend time in front of the camera, but she was nervous to do it alone. So that was one of the stepping stones of why we started this program, to support,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the process. For myself, it's funny, Tracy, when you're like, the imperfection, one of my sayings this whole year was lean in, and do it messy. Because I think women look at things, the perfect Christmas tree, the perfect house, the perfect figure, the perfect anything. And the three of us, and myself especially, we show our imperfections. And I support that. When I pull up a post and I see a mistake in it, I'm like, "Ugh," and I'm like, nope, lean in, do it messy. If I fumble on a broadcast or something that I want to do, lean in and do it messy.
Yeah, I think the big thing is we can't, for me anyways, is I can't ask a client to do something that I would not do myself. Can't do that. Like that's just genuine to do that. Say, well, I respect the view, but God, I would not.
And I think the three of us, all of us started our jobs later on. I know we've all, some of you guys have had your own positions, own businesses beforehand, but we're later in life and we're all built a whole new business. And for myself, this was really new, and I didn't do it till after late 50, after 60, because I was always in the corporate world. So we always talk about, don't let age stop you from anything. And I'm walking that walk by training for my next race next October, when I'll be 64. So
I love that. That's incredible. Good for you. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to shift gears just very slightly, and I want to know what you each believe about yourself. Like, let's, because obviously there might be a fair amount of things or a fair amount of beliefs that we carry that help to create and generate results for ourselves. But what is the one belief that you practice the most, or maybe believe the hardest? You know, like that one belief that really sort of anchors and tethers you into your calling, your purpose, your actions. What is that belief or that thought that you have?
I don't know how to put it in words. We kind of talked about it a little bit when we talk about what other people think. My background, Meg's, was I was in a 20-year mentally abusive relationship. So what he thought was what drove me, because if he was happy, then I was happy. And so now my belief now is I don't need anybody else's approval around me, that I do and follow what lays heavy on my heart. And that's where I talk about the passion of helping women find their voice, because we don't need an outside approval. So whenever have that belief creeps in, because I don't think you fully remove beliefs, you learn how to work through them.
Mhm.
And with that, so my belief is if I follow my heart and through whatever my practices, through journaling, my pen to paper, and where my higher power guides me, then that's where I'm going to go without anybody's approval.
That's so powerful. That's really, there's a lot of strength and a lot of courage in that. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
I think mine goes from, excuse me, I've been there. And what I mean by that is I've hidden myself for a very long time, my true self of what I wanted to bring to the world for whatever reason. For convenience, it was easy to stay in the comfort zone and not push myself out. And so to me, I feel like I bring that where I know exactly where you are. I know that you're on this side of the comfort zone and you're so scared to push yourself forward. And it's just so exciting once you do that you learn. It's like training. You learn how to push yourself out of the comfort zone. And I just think that's where I come from, is that I've been there, I know, and you feel safe and you feel that this is where you should stay hidden, and you shouldn't. You should be you out there.
Mhm.
Love that. The world needs more of that, I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
Sure. I think mine is I'm worth fighting for.
Mm.
Having come from very little self-worth and beating myself up a lot, constantly, being down there in the muck, there was always something in me that said, no, you can do this. You can get there. You can do this. So don't ever give up on yourself. That's mine.
Super powerful. Super powerful.
That's amazing.
And we all know how I love being vulnerable. I mean, that's just,
I know.
Especially on camera.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Good. Well, do we want more? I have more, or are we all in the fields and like, where are we?
Are they all gonna bring us to tears?
Because I didn't bring any Kleenex with me.
Yeah. Why don't you do one more? Then I have a question for you.
Okay. So my final question for the three of you is to ask yourself, how did I get here? And how do I get to where I want to go?
well, that's sort of the same answer that
Hmm.
I gave in the last question. It's you don't stop. You always get up, no matter how many times you fall. You have to have tenacity. Don't create a story about yourself in that somehow any mistakes you make, it means that you are something. It's just data, it's just information.
Yeah.
And you just need to look at it, analyze it, and change whatever needs to be changed and get going again. And while that's easy to say, I know it's not easy to execute all the time, because we do create stories about ourselves. We're human, it's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's anything that I have learned since I began this life coaching journey, that's probably one of the most powerful lessons I could have learned, is to be able to separate out what is really true from the thoughts I have about whatever the situation is in my life. And that has served me so well, because it is what allows you to just keep going and keep doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that, Tracy. I know, Tracy, you and I are big pen to paper people, and I'm constantly pen to paper because I think we never stop growing and we never stop learning. There is no age gap to that. There is no top level. And I am not talking schooling. I'm talking life
Yeah.
lessons, life. When you think you solved all of your limiting beliefs, there's another one that's gonna sneak up and slap you. And that's where you do that pen to paper. Where's the truth behind it? Where did I hear that? Who told me that? Was that a story? Like I've talked to women in the past and said, well, who wrote that story? Like, what's the ending? You're the author. We can rewrite anything we want and do whatever we want. And I think when you find that courage to start that pen to paper, to really start finding your feelings, you open up. They're hard, they're emotional, but you find relief and you just want to keep growing and moving forward.
Excuse me. I found that once I realized, you know what, life is scary and there's a lot of emotion that goes on with it. And if you just allow that thought, life is scary and shit's going to happen and it's going to freak you out and all of that stuff. And going with what Michelle and Tracy said, not allowing anything, all those voices to dictate how you are, you really can take that life is scary and go and take scary to exciting and take learning, continuous learning, like Michelle said, to a different a different level. Life is scary. Embrace life is scary. Embrace the emotions that go with it, because there's going to be some really shitty times, but there's going to be some really effing amazing times, but you can't get to one unless you do the other. So just, life is scary. Just embrace it.
I love that. Beautiful. Thank you.
So Megs, my question to you.
Yeah.
This is your second time on, you've seen the format, you understand what we're talking about, our past episodes. What do you think women from different generations would love to hear from us moving forward? And should we be bringing more guests on?
I think yes to the guests always, because it helps to bring new opinions and it steers the conversation in ways that perhaps you wouldn't have thought to go. I'm all for that, talk to the people who make you feel uncomfortable and invite them into conversation and kind of like get into, I love being uncomfortable. I think it's one of the best places that we can be as humans. That's where all the growth and the exciting development, the results happen. So yes to the guests 100%. And I really think what the world needs to hear, women and everyone else, is how to get back into it, and not back to the structures that we had before a couple of years ago, because they were dying, they were old, they weren't serving us. But how do we reconnect to each other, and how do we get to a place where we can lift each other up, support each other, genuinely support each other, and as the three of you all said earlier on in one of those questions, is be able to sit with each other's differing opinions and not have it be a personal attack on your own belief systems and your structures and your, all those things that we carry. How do we as a race, as humans, as, for women who have families and women who have, how do we steer that in the direction of unity and, as cheesy as this might be, love?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
didn't give us any easy task.
Yeah. Hey, we can do it, ladies. We can do it.
That's right.
I just, I mean, I really, that whole love thing, the whole love angle, we need to do a whole episode just on that. I think we also need to do a whole episode and the word and. It's like, those are such important concepts, because I think certainly from during the pandemic, we saw a lot of polarization in families, you know, the vaccines, that whole aspect of that, whether or not that was okay or it wasn't okay. So I think we can do a lot of good by bringing those questions back into some of our episodes, because people need to hear that opinion.
Yes. Yeah, we always stayed away from the pandemic because we didn't want any controversial, and we don't want to. We don't want to bring the pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine. It's each person lives with their decision and they're entitled to that decision.
Mhm.
And
Maybe
we
we should start to stir stuff up a bit.
should.
Maybe we need to start picking on some topics that are a little bit more controversial, just to see where it all leads. And you know, it will ultimately, I know for me, when we get into some of those conversations, it helps me grow as a person, because I have to learn
Yeah.
and
Unlearn.
stretch, yeah, and unlearn things. Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
and learn if there is a bit of a backlash or whatever, how you deal with that. You know, how do you deal with
Yes,
people
exactly.
not loving you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it is okay. It is okay to have a different opinion. But I do agree, Tracy, we'll have to, in our little chats, decide where we want to go and how we want to go with it. I mean, with me being in the US and you being in Canada, I know we both have had our own political polar opposites either. Our politics is such at war, and the same as yours. I've heard from people in Canada, as Canada has been. So
Yeah, and this last year has been, we've got the format, we've got to know each other better, and we're comfortable with this. So I agree with Megs, is like, get out of the comfort zone and do a little controversy and stir it up. Let's stir it up.
stir it up.
Get into the shit.
Yeah, get into the shit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, this has been a fun celebration.
Yes.
I still can't believe it's been a year. Megs, I know. Megs, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
I saw your little one go by in the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to you women, you have been such an important part of my life. You helped me through a really tough time in the summer. You allowed me to just talk and cry. And I'm always have a special part of that. You're part of my healing, and I greatly appreciate you both for that.
Yes, I greatly appreciate you both. But I don't want to cry anymore. Tears of joy, come on.
Yes, they are tears of joy. They are
That's
tears of joy. And like I said, we've never met. And the bond between the three of us, like you said, Tracy G, there is good bondage in the internet. You can make great friends. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
But so if you guys would love to see anything in our upcoming year, if you have a controversial topic you'd love to ask our opinion on, put it down here in the comments, please. Don't forget that our episode comes out every Wednesday, so hit that notification, subscribe, and share it. Share our episodes or share a past episode with someone that you feel could benefit from it. We would greatly appreciate it. Until next time.
To another year. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.